Good day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's tourism lesson. My name is Lumka Mgotyelwa. This lesson is brought to you by the Northern Cape Department of Education in collaboration with Phakama Research and Development. Grade 12 learners, we are still on our revision. Today, we're doing tourist attractions, famous world icons, revision. Remember, tourist attractions is in section C of your question papers in question 4. Section C, question 4. So that's what you are going to be doing today. Remember, grade 12 learners, we always start with our lesson objectives, meaning that what is it that you need to achieve. Remember, for each and every lesson, you need to achieve something at the end of the day. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to identify world icons and attractions aligned with the 2021 National Recovery Annual Teaching Plan. You will also remember that we're always touching on the examination guideline. So this is taken from examination guideline page 9 and page 10. Remember, grade 12 learners, examination guideline is exactly what is guiding us as educators on what to teach and guiding you guys on what to study. So we doing the examination guideline. Now, grade 12 learners, we also have the examination tips. The examination tips are something that will help you now in the examination pertaining this topic. What are the things that are so important for you in the examination pertaining the topic of tourist attractions? So now these are the examination tips, grade 12 learners. In this topic, you are expected to distinguish, if you are looking at that action verb, to distinguish, grade 12, between attraction and an icon. I've seen in so many question papers whereby you have to distinguish or differentiate between attraction and an icon. It's important for you to be able to do that. There is no way you can do this topic, tourist attractions, and the subtopic is famous world icons, but you cannot be able to explain what an icon is. It is very important. Interpret and evaluate the latest statistics presented in the form of graphs, text, and tables. So you must expect all of these in your question papers. We don't know which one is going to be there exactly, but you must know how to interpret and also evaluate the latest statistics. Remember, these are the world famous icons, grade 12 learners, whereby you need to know the number of the tourists who are actually visiting. So sometimes you find that numbers are changing. If we had these numbers last year, those numbers maybe are increased or decreased this year. So we need to check the latest statistics pertaining these icons. You will be assessed on the location of icons or attractions on a world map, meaning that you must also be able to identify these world famous icons from the world map. You must also know the reasons why each icon is an icon in the first place. What is the reason? Why was it declared an icon in the first place? You must also know unique characteristic that makes it an icon or an attraction. In your whatever material that you were using, maybe you've seen that you have a description of each of these icons. So you need to know all that information. You must also be able to give a full location of the icon, e.g. the city, the country, and the continent. Apart from being able to locate these icons on the world map, you must also know their actual location now. In the city, what is the city of this particular icon? What is the country? What is the continent? Once you know that information first, it is going to be easy for you to actually locate them on the world map. This topic will be assessed in both question 1 and question 4. You know, grade 12 learners. Remember, question 1 is short questions. So as part of the short questions, we are going to see multiple choice questions. In the multiple choice questions, there is always this topic of the tourist attractions. You must be able to link or apply their knowledge to the factors and characteristics that contribute to a success of a tourist attraction. Remember, grade 12 learners, when you were taught maybe in class or when we were doing these lessons, you've noticed that we teach the world icons. After the world icons, there is factors and characteristics. So you must know the factors and the characteristics that contribute to a success of a tourist attraction. So you must also be able to link or apply these factors and characteristics to each and every one of the 13 icons that you did in class. That is very important. And grade 12 learners, apart from what you need to know about the topic, we are also concerned about the common errors that you learners are actually making during the exams. So we also want to correct those. You learners usually confuse the reason why a certain attraction is an icon in the first place. Confusing it with what? Confusing it with the description. We've seen it many a times when we're marking at the end of the year, whereby learners, if the question says, describe this attraction or this icon, then a learner will give a reason why it is an icon. Where you're supposed to give a reason, learners will give a description, meaning that now, grade 12 learners, you need to study the description and understand and know it, and also study the reason why each icon is an icon. Please do not confuse them, because those are the errors that the past learners have made in these exams. I know grade 12 learners are not going to make these errors this year. Learners are usually not able to identify the pictures of the icons from the source given. I know you will be able to do that, grade 12 learners, but I know of some learners who will confuse these icons. But your icons for 2024, guys, they are so straightforward. Remember, you cannot confuse Niagara Falls with the Great Wall of China. You cannot confuse the Berlin Wall with the Black Forest. You understand what I mean? So that is why I'm saying the pictures of the icons for 2024, they are very much straightforward. I don't think there is a learner who is actually going to confuse those pictures or not to being able to identify the pictures. Usually, learners usually struggle to locate the icons on the world map according to the country or the continent. I know that problem is there. Most learners are actually making that mistake. Grade 12 learners, study these icons, know the location, and then take a blank map, a world blank map. Try to locate them. Once you do that, you are not going to have a problem in the exam. So the class of 2024, I know it is not going to be part of these confusions or the common errors that we see here. This comes to the end of our examination tips, grade 12 learners, and I believe that you are going to be able to do everything that we have discussed under the examination tips, because that is going to help you in the exam. Now, let us continue with our lesson, grade 12 learners, whereby you know that we always talking to the question papers, revising the question papers, so that whatever that was discussed now in the examination tips, you are able to apply it in the question papers. So I've already mentioned to you that this is section C, question 4. So I want you to be confident enough when you get to this question to know that when I get to question 4, I'm only answering the famous world icons, nothing else. And also after the famous world icons, you know, we've spoken to the factors and the characteristics. So those are the subtopics that are actually going to be asked under this question, grade 12 learners. So in this question, I've started with the multiple choice questions because I actually wanted you to see how the multiple choice questions are actually asked in this topic. So let us look at 4.1.1. A positive tourist experience. We are doing this together, grade 12 learners, but I know that while I'm reading, on the side, you are actually writing something. That is why each time we're doing the revision, please have a pen and a paper, grade 12 learners, so that you quickly jotting down whatever that we're doing here, so that you write your own answers. When we get to the answers, the actual answers or the actual solutions, you just mark yourself. So this particular activity, we are doing it together. So 4.1.1, a positive tourist experience can lead to A, an attraction being successful, B, an attraction that must be avoided, C, long queues of tourists at the attraction, D, the destruction of the natural environment. Remember, we have spoken about the factors and the characteristics. So here it says a positive tourist experience can lead to what? Grade 12 learners. Can it lead to an attraction being successful? That is A. Can it lead to an attraction that must be avoided? Can it lead to long queues of tourists at the destination? Can lead to the destruction of the natural environment. So I want to believe you have already chosen your answer there. Let's proceed to 4.1.2. An important factor to consider. You see now? An important factor to consider for an attraction to be successful. A, areas to cater for international vendors. B, no consideration for people with disabilities. C, keeping visitors safe from criminals. And D, only open on weekends. So, what is the question here? The question is about a factor to consider for an attraction to be what? Grade 12? To be successful. So, which of these factors, A to D, will assist an attraction to be successful? So, I know, again, you have already chosen your answer. Let's move to 4.1.3. The Berlin Wall, you know, it is one of the icons, one of the 13 icons that you did. The Berlin Wall was built to divide this country into West and East. A, China. B, Brazil. C, Italy. D, Germany. So which of these four countries Berlin is, and that the country is divided? Which of these countries is actually divided into West and East? Since Berlin Wall, you know, it was used to actually divide this country. What is the name of the country? Choose, grade 12 learners. I want to believe that already you have chosen the correct answer. Let's move to 4.1.4. The statue of Christ the Redeemer, another icon, in the Vatican City, another icon, but different continents now, have the following in common. What is it that the Christ the Redeemer or the statue of Christ the Redeemer and the Vatican City have in common? Is it religious significance, which is A, grade 12? B, are they both made of cement? C, do they have a symbol of independence? And D, do they have a natural significance? So what is the correct answer here? That is making these two icons to be, that will make them to be common, or they have something in common. What is the answer for 4.1.4? Let's move to 4.1.5, which is our last question for this short questions or multiple choice. So let's move to 4.1.5. The body of the Sphinx, remember the Sphinx is one of the icons, is in the shape of A, or N? A, elephant. B, rhinoceros. C, buffalo. D, lion. So what is the answer here? If you can just think of the picture of the Sphinx, how does it look like? Does it have a body of an elephant, or a body of a rhinoceros, or a body of a buffalo, or a body of a lion? So what is the correct answer here, grade 12 learners? So I want to believe that you were able to get your correct answers out of 5 marks. Now, let us move to the solutions for this. The answer for number 4.1.1 is A. You are marking yourself now, grade 12. It is A. And the answer for 4.1.2 is C. 4.1.3 is D. 4.1.4 A. And 4.1.5 is D. So those are the answers for the multiple choice questions, and I want to believe that you all got 5 marks out of 5. I don't think there is anyone who couldn't get those marks. Let's move to another activity, grade 12. This one, you are going to do it alone. You are doing this activity on your own. Section C, tourist attractions, question 4. I don't want you to forget that you are actually dealing with section C, question 4. Now, I want you to examine these icons. Remember, in one of the lines of the examination tips, it said you must be able to identify the pictures, and also in the common errors. I did mention to you that the previous or the past grade 12 learners, some of them were not able to identify these pictures, and I want to believe that you are going to be able to identify the 4 pictures that are in front of you. A, there is this picture here. I'm not going to say the names because in the activity you are supposed to give the names of these icons. So in A, here is the picture. You can see the picture. B, you can see the picture, and you can be able to identify this picture, grade 12 learners. And also C, I want to believe that you are able to see that picture. And also D. Please identify these pictures, grade 12 learners. I give you 2 minutes. I want to believe, grade 12 learners, that you were able to identify the 4 pictures. We will now go to the solutions. And then in the solutions, from the solutions, in fact, I want you to mark yourself. Let's check again. It's A, there is the picture. B, another picture. C, another picture. D, another picture. Let's see if you did manage to identify these pictures, because that's what you need to do. Now, 4.1, icon A is Colosseum. I want to believe that you managed to do that. Icon B is the Ayers Rock or Uluru Katajuta National Park. Icon C is Vatican City. And icon D is the Black Forest. So I want to believe that you managed to get the 4 marks, grade 12 learners. It was such an easy activity to do. So you got your 4 marks, I want to believe. Now let us move to another activity. Oh, by the way, you were supposed to give, in 4.2, you were supposed to name the countries and the continents of these icons. Now that you see in front of you, icon A, which is the Colosseum. Remember we said icon A is the Colosseum. So Colosseum is situated in Italy, Europe. Ne? Icon B. You remember icon B. Icon B is Ayers Rock or Uluru Katajuta National Park. It is Uluru or Ayers Rock. So Ayers Rock or Uluru is situated in Australia or Australasia. So you will be correct if you write your continent like this. And the other one, number 3, is the Vatican City, which is icon C, Vatican City. So Vatican City is also in Italy, Europe. And then the last one is the Black Forest, according to the way you have identified them. It is the Black Forest. So the Black Forest is in Germany, in Europe. You see, grade 12 learners, if you're really paying attention now to what we are doing, there won't be any need for you to go study so hard for these icons, because the exercises that we do here are actually going to help you to remember what you have studied in class. So already you know the location, you know the names of these icons, the 4 icons, and also the location of these icons, because already you know the country and you know the continent, which will make it easy now for you to actually locate them on the world map that might be given to you. Another activity, grade 12 learners, whereby now we have to go through the case study. After going through the case study, you are going to answer the questions based on this case study. Mystery of the floating markets, another world famous world icon, the floating markets. Now the floating markets are famous for its colorful traders selling products to shoppers along the crowded river canals. So the picture is saying it all. These people are selling to shoppers along crowded river canals. For years, the markets have been a hub for trading and socializing. However, many locals are concerned over the continued existence of the floating markets. One of the contributing factors is that the younger generation prefer to work in a more formal environment as opposed to following a traditional agricultural lifestyle. The locals also prefer to use land-based transport from the river canals. So this is the case study. You just go through the case study. You don't go through the case study once, grade 12 learners. When you are in the exam, read the case study again before you can go to the questions. You need to understand what is in the case study, because in most cases, learners will go to the questions, keep coming to the case study, now trying to look for the answer. So you need to study the case study first before you can answer the questions. So we're going to read it again and then we'll go to the questions. The floating markets are famous for its colorful traders selling products to shoppers along crowded river canals. So you can see now what is happening at the floating markets. We've never been to the floating markets, but we can see what is actually happening there. For years, the markets have been a hub for trading and socializing. However, many locals are concerned over the continued existence of the floating markets. One of the contributing factors is that the younger generation prefer to work in a more formal environment as opposed to following a traditional agricultural lifestyle. The locals also prefer to use land-based transport from the river canals. Now let us go to the questions based on this case study about the floating markets. So you can see the marks there, grade 12 learners. We cannot afford to lose the marks. 4.5. Read the case study above and answer the questions that follow. What is it that the floating markets are famous for? That is 4.5.1. What is it that the floating markets are famous for? So I want you to write the questions now as I'm reading them, grade 12 learners, because I will go back to the case study so that you read the case study again and answer the question. So meaning that what is going to be in your screen is going to be the case study. For now, please quickly jot down the questions and also the mark allocation, and then we'll go back to the case study so that you can answer based on the case study. So question 4.5.1, it says, what is it that the floating markets are famous for? Write down the question. The second question, what is the concern of the locals? What is it that the local people are concerned about? Identify a type of transport the locals prefer to use. I actually want you to answer until 4.5.3. So can you please answer until there, grade 12 learners? So you are going to answer these 3 questions for me. Please write them down. Once you are done, we will go back to the case study so that you can get the answers. What is it that the floating markets are famous for? What is the concern of the locals? Identify the type of transport the locals prefer to use. Now, I want to believe that you are done writing the questions down. Here is the case study. Since you have already jotted down the questions, so here is the case study. Please, grade 12 learners, answer according to what is in front of you. I give you only 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, we're going back to the solutions. I want to believe you are done, grade 12 learners. You have those correct answers with you. And now we will go to the questions again. And then from the questions, we go to the solutions. In 4.5.1, we're supposed to write what is it that the floating markets are famous for? What are they famous for? And also, what is the concern of the locals? That is 4.5.2 and 4.5.3. Identify the type of transport that the locals prefer to use. So let's see how many marks are you actually going to get from this. Now let us mark. 4.5.1. Remember we said what is it that the floating markets are famous for? So the floating markets are famous for its colorful traders selling products to shoppers along the crowded river canals. That is the only answer for 4.5.1 for 2 marks. Great, 12 learners. Remember, you're supposed to take it straight from the case study and write it down. So I want to believe that you did manage to get that correct answer in 4.5.1. Then 4.5.2, what is it that the locals are concerned about? That was the question. Many locals are concerned over the continued existence of the floating markets. That was the concern of the locals. So I want to believe that you got that one correct again. Land-based transport is the transport used by the locals. Remember, we were supposed to give the type of transport that is used by the locals. So they also use land-based transport. Remember, we were supposed to answer until 4.5.3. So I want to believe that you did get your 5 marks from the case study, because now I actually want you to see that, right, 12 learners. When you're extracting or when you're taking information from the case study, can you write the full information? Because really, some of the common errors are that our learners, when they're taking answers from the case study, they take half answers. They don't take full answers. And now if something is in front of you and you don't take it as it is, or full answers, then you lose marks at the end of the year. It's important that you take the whole answer so that you get your full marks. That is also important, grade 12 learners. So I want to believe that you have enjoyed this activity and you got your full marks here. Now I have a homework for you, grade 12 learners, whereby you're supposed to study the icons below and answer the questions that follow. Icon A, you can see the picture. Icon B, you can also be able to see that picture. Icon C and icon D. So I want to believe that you are able to see the pictures. You can see that our today's activity is about pictures. So it is about you guys being able to identify these pictures, and I want to believe you are actually going to do that successfully. So now let's look at our homework. In 1.1.1, you're supposed to identify icons A to D. That is the homework. So when you do the homework, remember 4 marks, guys, is a lot of marks. 1.1.2, you're supposed to name the country and the continent where each of icons A to D is located. And what I like about these questions is that they are taken from the previous question papers. Even if the previous question paper has asked you about 1 or 2 of these icons, but you can see the type of questions that are asked in the previous question papers. So for 8 marks, because we're talking 4 icons here, for 8 marks, you must name the country and the continent where each of icons A to D is located. So this is a lot of marks that you cannot afford to lose, even in the question paper, guys. 1.1.3, what type of tourist would be interested to visit each of the icons above? So if you're talking about the icons that you have identified in the previous slide, what type of tourist now will be able to visit those icons? I know you know them by names. I don't want to make mistakes here and give you the clues or the answers. So it is very important. Grade 12 learners, you will notice that we did this icon here, which is located in Australia. Remember, Australia has got 2 icons. It is the Ayers Rock or Uluru Kata-Tjuta National Park, because the Ayers Rock is located or situated in the park, in the national park, inside the national park. So that rock is actually inside the national park. So we have 2 icons in Australia. It is the Sydney Opera House, which is the picture that you see here, and also Ayers Rock or Uluru Kata-Tjuta National Park. And then this is the Great Wall of China. Remember the Great Wall of China, guys. The name says it all. It gives us the country already. The Great Wall of China is situated in China. So you must just know the reasons why it is an icon in the first place, and also be able to describe it as an icon. How can you describe the Great Wall of China? How can you describe the Sydney Opera House? And also the reasons why they are icons in the first place. And then here is a Colosseum. Remember we said Colosseum is situated in Italy, Rome, so in Europe. So the location is also very important. So what you need to know is that why was it built in the first place? Why was the Colosseum built in the first place? What was the reason? And also, how can you best describe the Colosseum? That is what you need to know, guys, about these icons. Be able to identify the pictures as I'm doing now. and also be able to know the reason why it is an icon in the first place, and also be able to describe it, and also the location. Very important. That is the important information about these icons, guys. This is the Ayers Rock, the second icon now in Australia. So this is the Ayers Rock or Uluru Kata Tjuta National Park. So you must also be able to know everything about it. The location, the reason why it is an icon, the description, and also be able to identify this picture. You can see as they pop in, I'm able to see, I'm able to say the name. So you must do the same, grade 12 learners. And this is the Black Forest. Where is it located? In which country? In which continent? So this is the second icon in Germany. Remember, we have Berlin Wall and also we have the Black Forest. So those are the only two icons that you find in Germany. So what you need to know is that this is the Black Forest that is also associated mostly with the Black Forest cake and also the Kaku clocks that are crafted in this icon. So that is the information that you actually need to know about these icons, grade 12 learners. As I'm identifying them, I want to believe that you're doing the same, because once you are not able to identify them in the question paper, you are going to lose a lot of marks, and we do not want that. We want you to get as many marks as you can get. Please, grade 12 learners. These are the Sphinx. The Sphinx, remember in Africa we have two icons in one country. So this is the Sphinx and also the Great Pyramids of Giza in Egypt. So you also need to know the reason why the Sphinx were declared icon in the first place. And also, how can you describe the Sphinx? So this is very important, guys. It is actually going to give you a lot of marks. And these are the Niagara Falls in America, or in the United States of America. Why are these Niagara Falls an icon in the first place? And how can you describe them? Are you able to identify the picture? Are you not going to confuse them with any falls or the Victoria Falls in Zimbabwe or Zambia? Are you not going to be able to do that? You are not going to be able to do that, because already you know these icons. So grade 12 learners, remember with the icons, you only studying 13 icons for 2024, and the best question papers that you can revise, if you want these icons, it is the 2021 question papers, because you're doing the icons that were done in 2021. So please, when you're revising, be it a June question paper, February, March question paper, prelim question paper, final question paper, just revise your 2021 question papers. They will give you the exact list of the icons that you are doing this year. So grade 12 learners, this now takes us to the end of our lesson for today, and the lesson was brought to you by the Northern Cape Department of Education in collaboration with Phakama Research and Development. My name is Lumka Mtokelwa. Grade 12 learners, goodbye.